maybe we should drop the bomb sooner rather than later.
I'm falling hard for Fallout, baby.
It kind of weirdly mirrored Walton Goggins' like actual persona.
Okay.
What's poppin', Palaxy? Today on the Bounty Board, we talk all about Season 1 of Fallout with special guest Angelica Trey. So kick up that warp drive and let's punch this thing. Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast, everybody. What's going on? My name's MT, and I'm here with my favorite friends in the world, Whitney Van Laningham, Tommy Bechtold, and special guest of the channel, Angelica Trey. What's going on, Angelica?
Hi. There's a lot going on. I'm really excited to talk about Fallout.
Yes!
I'm so excited to specifically talk to you about Fallout.
Seriously.
You are knowledgeable as fuck. You are so smart. I cannot wait. Also, can I just tell you something? I just realized that I think I know what your middle name is. Is your name Angelica Lunchable Tray?
We can't talk about Lunchables anymore.
Dude, I know they're cancerous.
Are they?
Yes, apparently. And I'm so sorry. I know we're supposed to be talking about Fallout, but this is technically Fallout related because they probably had Lunchables in the vault. And Lunchables are radioactive now. So this totally connects. But yeah, they came out and they said that we can't eat Lunchables anymore because of woke. So just really bummed.
Wow,
Wokeables.
I'd rather die of cancer than the woke mind virus. Lunchables, beast. All right, before we carry on with this conversation, one thing you all need to know is there will be spoilers. So if you have not finished Fallout and you don't want to have some real key elements spoiled for you, pause, go finish it, and come back. But you owe us a view, and then tell a friend because you owe us 2 views for not doing your homework on time.
Yes, there will be heavy spoilers for this this series because
spoilers.
Heavy spoilers! Little shout out there.
It's a little plug right there.
I don't even know what that is. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I sure do have a screen crush on that comment. All right, let's go.
But yeah, so like overall, like how do you guys feel about the series?
I'm not gonna lie. Before we started watching this show, I'm not a video game person, so I didn't really know anything about Fallout. You guys at this point, everyone has seen our episode with Anna, so you know my limited Fallout knowledge. But Tommy and I were actually texting each other, being like, "Oh God damn it, we don't want to watch 8-hour-long episodes of a show right now. Come on." And Tommy and I were both coming up with ways that we could fake sick to get out of recording the podcast. We didn't actually come up with anything. We did the podcast. And I just want to say that version of Whitney was so wrong. It was actually fucking amazing. I loved this show. I was so into it. I'm falling hard for Fallout, baby. Call me a
Fallout girl.
Slap my ass and call me a fan because I'm here for it.
That's awesome.
I want to share my thoughts because I really want to hear from our 2 resident gamers, Trey and MT. So I'll just share briefly. I echo what Whitney said. I loved the first half. I didn't necessarily love the second half as much as I loved the first half. I got a little confused in the last episode, and I'm definitely going to need to watch it again. But I will say my biggest takeaway from this, as a fellow, not really a gamer, but someone who's always been gamer curious, is I'm dying to play these games now. Like, I really want to know the lore of these games. Is really exciting for me. And I mean, exciting to me. And I would say it seems fairly obvious a season 2 is coming, right? I don't know if they announced the renewal, but heavily teased in the ending of episode 8. So I would say it was a success in recruiting 2 non-gamers to the franchise. I'll certainly watch a season 2. I just kind of felt like it kind of dragged a little bit in the second half and then ramped up into this like information dump of treachery in the last episode that makes me want to now play the games and see the similarities in the world created by Nolan and Lisa Joy as opposed to the games. Anyway, but I want to hear from the experts now. Enough of me yet.
Please. Enough of me and Tommy and our lack of knowledge. Please tell us everything you know.
Yes. How did you feel, Angelica?
Well, so I went into it really excited. I played Fallout. I haven't played every single game, but I love the world of it. I'm very familiar with it, and I'm surrounded by a lot of just like super uber Fallout fans where like, you know, you could always ask and they'll provide as much lore, like they read through everything, you know, all of that. And I was really excited for it because I love to see any sort of game adaptation. I know they haven't always had the best track record, but
True.
we're coming off of the heels. Yeah, we're coming off of the heels of stuff like we had like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. We had The Last of Us. Like, yeah,
Sonic.
There's been so many cool stuff coming out that I feel like they're honing in on it. I think I also want to do a nod to like Arcane and stuff too, but just looking at live action, you know, I was like, okay, we had The Last of Us, you know, Fallout already looks excellent. It looks cheeky and along the lines of the tone that the game has, where for such a serious world, there's so many goofy, silly moments. So I picked up on that from the teasers, from the trailers, and I couldn't wait to watch. I just wish they didn't throw it all out there at once because I wanted to discuss week to week.
Absolutely.
That's why Tommy and I almost fake sick. That's why we almost fake sick for this episode, because we were just like, this is too much for like a day. This is insane. And I do think that the show really would have benefited because every episode, there is so much to speculate on, especially from a person who hasn't played the games. Like if I had just seen this in the wild and it was like a week by week thing, I would be losing my mind coming up with theories every week and like trying to figure things out and like looking at all the little clues. Like, damn, like I wish that it was, you know, came out episode by episode, but that's not where we are.
Like, I'm just wondering what they were thinking. I don't know why they did that.
Dude, Stranger Things was successful like a billion years ago. Stranger Things, we all binged it. We all loved it. We said, yes, please, mommy, daddy. Yes, please. Num, num, num. Feed me up. Fill my belly. Num, num, num. And now that's all they give us. And it fucking sucks.
Well, maybe season 2. I don't know if you could switch up a format like that, but that would be kind of cool if they slowed it down because I think there's a season 2. They cliffhangered it just like they cliffhanger a lot of episodes, but you know, clearly.
I believe season 2 of The Boys differed from its release style than season 1 of The Boys. I could be incorrect, but I believe they have Amazon shows have played around with how they release shows. So there's no saying that we may not, you know, there's no guarantee that we wouldn't get perhaps a weekly release. Or I think one, how The Boys came out in season 2 was like they released 2 episodes up top and then started going in. Disney Plus was experimented with that. I wouldn't mind that. A 2-episode premiere feels right for a show like that, where it's like, really give us the pilot to get into the world and then give us a little bit of some runway to take off from. I think that's really smart. I hope they do that.
Yeah, the 2 episodes, like it gets you into the world in the first episode, all the setup, and then you commit by the second episode. And then you're like, okay, I'm waiting for next week. Yep. I get
absolutely.
Right.
MT, what are your thoughts? We've all been talking and I completely forgot. We want to hear your thoughts. Please, what are your thoughts?
I have had no thoughts during this. I turned my brain off. I went to sleep.
It is just fully empty, baby.
But no, I thought that the show was incredible. Like absolutely amazing. Like literally makes me so hopeful for like the future of video game adaptations. Because like I went in this like, you know, I've played like Fallout 4 a little bit, like the beginnings of that, and like I have a little bit of Fallout 3. I had a little bit of Fallout knowledge prior to it, so like that I had enough to make me appreciate all of like the little Easter eggs all around me. Like, oh my god, like and like this show shoved so much. There was so much like love and care for the actual source material that like it literally felt like watching the video game and like not playing it, which is like so weird to say, but like it works. And like especially like with the Norm sequences when he was like hacking, I was like, oh my god, he's hacking exactly how you hack in the game. I thought that was so cool. He was Hacker Man 64. You know, like I thought this show was amazing, and like I really hope that like it gets recognition, especially like Walter Goggins as the ghoul. Bro, like I feel like he deserves an Emmy nomination for that whole thing because like he just like stole the show for me. Like he was like, well, obviously like Ella Purnell, fantastic actress, major Jessica Day vibes. Like I kept thinking about you, HA. I was like, yo, like you would like kill it in this universe as this woman because like just heavy Jessica Day and New Girl vibes.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. I don't know. That's me trying to do it in the Jess voice.
But like, so who would you guys say are your favorite characters of this season?
Well, I want to go on what you said about Walton Goggins. I thought the transformation from Cooper Howard the transformation from Cooper Howard, it kind of weirdly mirrored Walton Goggins' like actual persona. He is a man who speaks with very little Southern accent in real life and almost exclusively plays Southern characters with a twang. And then, but then when you hear him talk in interviews, he's like, well, my dad was like, whatever. He was a school teacher. My mom was this and that. There's no trace of like a Texas twang in his voice at all. Which is a thing a lot of actors drop their accents. And same thing with Cooper Howard when he was offset, when he was just talking to his wife or his kids or when he was at parties, he had a very non-regional accent. He just had kind of a normal speaking voice. But over time, over 200 years, he became the characters that he played. His memories are probably so messed up.
Oh, that's so cool.
His memories are probably so like, obviously he had memories from his life as Cooper Howard, but as he became the ghoul and not Cooper Howard anymore, never refers to himself, never himself even brings up that time in his life when he wasn't a ghoul. He kind of became the cowboy again, talking about like, whatever, the laws of the wasteland and stuff like that. He completely morphed into an acting performance. So even the ghoul was a character played by Cooper Howard. And I thought that was
Tommy, that's really smart. I didn't even think about it like that.
That's really
so cool.
And that's all I got. So keep going.
And like, I do love how like, one of his movies posters was a man and his dog. And like he ends up with dog meat at the end. Which is like, yay, like a new dog for him because his wife wanted to kill his old one. Like a freaking sociopath.
Bro.
Psycho lady.
That,
my God,
like that was the moment for me where I was like, I will kill this woman. I will kill this woman. I will use her place in the vault to put Pugsley in there. Fuck you. No, my dog lives. You can die. I don't give a shit about you, lady.
Yeah. No dogs in the vault, then I don't want to be there.
I don't want to be in the vault.
Guess what? As long as I'm in the vault, there's a dog in the vault. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, got that dog in you.
I got that dog in me. I mean, in the vault.
I got about 3 hot dogs in me right now as well. I got a lot of dogs in me.
But like the actual plot of this show is insane because like having a MacGuffin be like a severed head of a scientist is like the most wildest thing in the world. Like, I feel like that's something you would see like in a Borderlands adaptation rather than like a Fallout adaptation. It's like, oh, this is like nuts.
I just really loved it because his instructions were so extra. He was like, okay, first you have to cut off my head. Cool. Then you just have to kind of carry around my severed head for a while in a little makeshift plastic bag. And I'm like, why didn't he just tell her, okay, and then you can cut the chip out of my neck as soon as it's off. And you can just carry the chip in your bra or something, hide it, and when you get there, hand it over to Moldovar or whatever. Why did you have to carry the whole head?
That makes complete sense. But I'm not sure if maybe. So here's the thing, right? So the Fallout series, it's not based on any story that is involved in the game. There's a ton of canon and lore, and then obviously a lot of the Easter eggs. And that's where the beauty is for the gamers is like, we don't know what's going to happen next. We just go, oh my God, I recognize that city skyline. Oh my God, that looks exactly like the jet from the game, that he just inhaled from the little inhaler thing. Is that buff out? Like you're trying to figure out, oh, a feral ghoul. Oh, that's so cool. But the thing is like, you don't really know what's going to happen next. From some of my playthrough of Fallout, even just in New Vegas, there is a quest where I have to have someone's ear for it. So it could be like,
no, I mean, it's great. I am not shitting on it. I think it's amazing. I think it is. Yeah. He was like, go the extra mile, baby. And she did. And I love that.
She did.
I absolutely love that.
If Lucy's good for anything, it's going the extra mile. But she's good for a lot of things, obviously. But.
It's true. I felt so bad for her because like, she just was a pure soul. Like she was just so innocent, and then she just got like thrown out into the world. Like it kind of felt like, obviously, like I can't relate to living in the post-apocalypse Though
Yes.
we're getting close there.
Yeah,
we're getting pretty
almost
close.
there.
Knock on wood. But
Yeah,
like,
The
you know, I
future
grew
is
up.
now. It's just not distributed or whatever.
Some of those,
You
some of
said.
those conversations, those kind of intense conversations about how like the money is made in like the actual like traumatic event. Like, you know, there's always the rumblings of like these medical companies actually know how to heal a lot of things that make us sick, but
But they keep us sick because
the money's in the treatment, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what I keep
post-capitalism,
saying.
baby.
That's right. So, you know, without all of us, you know, swearing our allegiance to an underground resistance army on air, I just think that there are moments, like especially when you see, I thought the meeting at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery where
Yeah.
Oh,
where
and
it's
that's just my favorite place in the world too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was so excited to see that. I was like,
kinda
oh, that's my spot.
I was kind of hoping Joey Ramones still existed in this universe and his guitar headstone was still there. But
Carrie Fisher is still alive, but she's just frozen, standing like how her grave is.
yes, absolutely. So anyway, but I just thought, yeah, some of those like the realizations, like Cooper's realization that his wife is like totally not only not like a pawn in the game, but is like the queen beside
villain.
beside Bud Askin. Like her and Bud Askin are like the people fueling this like, yeah, let's just blow the whole world up, and then Vault-Tec has to reign supreme and be profitable. It's like we'll control everything, and it all boiling down to like a company thinking that they're the only ones who know how to run the world and that only they can fix a problem. Like anytime one person says they're the only solution, I immediately am concerned about them. Anyhow.
Looking at you, Dr. Strange.
I do have a question about that woman that I don't know if any of you can answer, but it is a question that I have, which is like, okay, so obviously we know that she's behind it. She's the one who's like, yeah, nuke them all, do it, get it. Why the fuck would she set the bombs off when she knows her daughter is not in the bunker?
That is the question.
Like what? Like why? Like I mean, I'm sure something will tell us in season 2, but that just blew my mind. That because let's just say, like right now, this is the impression that we have. This could be wrong. This could, of course, be wrong. But right now, what it feels like is that she was so dead set on the greater good, the bigger plan, we have to do this, that she started even thinking of her own daughter as a dog in the vault and was like, nope, I don't care. Even if she's not inside, we have to do this. Like, I think I feel, to me, it felt like it became more important to her than anything else. And I don't know if that's true. I could be wrong. I could be completely, totally wrong, but that's how it felt watching it. And I thought that was so interesting. Just like, because like what mother would leave her child outside and then bomb Los Angeles? Like what mom would do that? There has to be a reason. Like there has to be something.
I do think the exciting thing about it is that we are not caught up in the flashback world to the moment where the vaults became occupied. Like that kind of feels like the beginning of the current timeline. The end of the current timeline is obviously when people are heading into the vaults. So we have no idea how much time really remains and whether they'll even get to it next season or if this is like a season 3 thing of like,
it could be.
I mean, Cooper asked the question in the finale, where is my family?
Yeah.
Does he mean, I mean, did he and his wife reconcile? Is there a further mystery to be unraveled? Is Bud asking, the Bud's like, is that truly something more nefarious and Cooper's wife maybe ultimately sees the error of her ways? Or is his family his dog and his daughter?
Yeah. Is his family his dog and his daughter? Is Roosevelt still alive and roaming the wastelands as a ghoul? We don't know.
And are they ghouls or are they cryo frozen? My thought is maybe he knows his daughter is cryo frozen. Maybe that was
maybe.
The options here, because you said like there is that gap of time, like even after the bombs went off, where he's riding the horse down Mulholland or whatever that was.
Yeah. We don't even know how he got out of there. We don't even know if he got out of there.
We could have, because it's either what is her name again? The wife.
I can't remember.
I've been calling her wife.
Barbara.
Okay. We're not sexist, I promise.
We don't remember most people's names.
Her name's
It's
Barbara.
okay.
I know, but we're like the woman.
The woman, the wife.
The
Who is that
woman.
treasonous woman?
I will look this up. Hold on.
Her name's Barbara. Barbara Howard.
Barbara
It is Barbara?
Howard.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Oh,
Her
Barb.
name is
Okay,
Barbara
Barb.
Howard? That's
Yeah.
Isn't that the teacher's name on Abbott Elementary? Isn't
Is
that
it?
Miss
Barb.
Howard? Isn't that? Am I crazy?
I
I'm
still have to see that show. I feel like I'm.
You have to see that show. Tommy's on
Okay.
it. Tommy's in an
I
episode of that
know.
show.
I need to see it.
I cannot even tell you how surprised I was because I didn't know he was going to be in the episode, and I was just casually watching Abbott, and I was like, "That's my best friend. That is my best friend." What? Like, it was
He's
so
canon.
wild.
In the
canon.
Abbott Elementary universe.
He's a balloon man. Who
I'm a
knew?
balloon man.
So cool.
I'm a balloon
But-
man.
So the options are that Barb's evil mastermind doesn't care about her family after all. That's not super likely, right?
It can't be.
Right.
That cannot
Yeah.
be real. That's how it feels, but that cannot be the answer.
Yeah, that's
Right.
like the least likely thing because we did see that whole, and obviously she could be manipulating him with the whole when she was overstimulated when they got out of that hot tub and Cooper, confronted her and everything. And she was like,
Right.
I'm just trying to protect you guys. But I genuinely think she cares about the people closest to her and she is trying to get them in the vaults. So the other option is it got out of her hands somehow. And I'm sure
Right.
we'll see that in some of the flashbacks. And it's going to be a situation where she gets overpowered in the name of,
The name of
I don't know.
Vault-Tec.
the name of profit. So I think it could potentially be a situation where they do get over to a vault, and we've seen this in so many apocalyptic zombie type stuff, or even in any sort of nuclear stuff. Like I'm just thinking back to an episode of the Twilight Zone. There's this one episode where they're all panicking to get into fallout shelters and stuff. There's one episode, I forget what it's called, but it's there's a birthday party going on and people are literally punching each other to get into these fallout shelters or these bunkers. And I imagine there's going to be a bunch of disarray like that. And somehow Cooper's going to get separated from his daughter. So he's probably also not only looking for Barb, but he's probably also looking for his daughter in some way. And I'm sure, I hope she's frozen somewhere.
I know. I do too.
Frozen
Or
baby.
he finds out she's an old lady or something.
I rarely hope that people are frozen, but in her case, I hope she's frozen.
Yeah.
I hope Walt Disney's frozen, and I hope that Jessie is frozen. That's her name,
Yes.
Jessie.
Okay.
Wow.
I definitely.
Oh my God. What if Walt Disney's head has the key to surviving the afterlife? Because you know how they say that Walt Disney's head is what's frozen, right? So what if the reason why is because we need to save it for the apocalypse? I just solved America.
Wow.
I'm so smart.
Honestly, I can see that happening. But no, I definitely feel like what Angelica was saying was that I feel like Vault-Tec's wanted to let the bombs drop eventually, but I feel like they only had so much control over what other nations did, because it was basically a conflict between China and the US, and there was this whole geopolitical thing. So I think that Vault-Tec must have had sway in Congress, hey, maybe we should drop the bombs sooner rather than later. But they just didn't know exactly when the world leaders were going to do anything about it. Yeah, I think that Barbara just didn't really know. I think it probably just caught her off guard, and she was like, all right, time to do grab my child and do this thing. But she probably betrayed Cooper and just be like, hey, there's no room for you.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh no, because I can totally see a situation where he rides up and he finds some family or something who are trying to gatekeep their bunker, and he's just like, "No, I'm Walton Goggins!" Pow! And he just pows him right in the kisser, and then he throws his daughter in the bunker, and now she's safe.
All right, guys, I want to say, so we've talked a little bit about the ending. We talked in depth with Anna Vanston about the beginning, but I want to fill in some of the blanks in between here. Now, we kind of get some more mythology in the Brotherhood of Steel, right? We see Knight Titus, great cameo, also amazing, one episode cameos from so many different people.
Oh, from so many people.
But Michael Rappaport kicking it off as Knight Titus, he serves a great purpose of giving us a lot more insight into Maximus's character. Maximus, to me, was such an interesting character in this show because he kind of mirrored Lucy a little bit in the sense that they were both kind of base level on their like on their actions. Like Maximus really had like his sense of right and wrong was not super dialed in, right? Like it was all kind of like based on this world where he knew like, yeah, it wasn't a big deal for him to let Knight Titus die in front of him, right? Like that, he was not conflicted about that. He was not that sad that his friend, who I think someone correctly predicted, was it Anna? Someone predicted that the friend Dean was going to was the person who sabotaged Dane.
I predicted that was me,
yes.
and I was right.
Dane hurt themselves, but what I'm saying is, I guess they don't have this long. Neither Lucy nor Dane have this long moral code. Lucy in the Vault, like they're just trained to do like the golden rule, right? They have the simple rule: do what's best for one another, and then they just obey it like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean always do what's right. It's like do what's best for one another. Maximus has do what you have to do to survive, and do what will make your life better because the surface is hell. And I find that episode with Knight Titus was very indicative of that, because it's kind of the second time we saw Maximus be a little bit like ironically not how a knight should behave, right? Like not coming to the rescue, not saving the person, just kind of letting the situation play out to his advantage. We see it again with Thaddeus when he tries to kill Thaddeus after Thaddeus discovers that he's been lying about being Knight Titus, and then he kind of barely tries to talk him out of going to tell, and then once he realizes like Thaddeus is going to go now use this information for his own benefit, he goes and shatters his foot, like it tries to kill him, right? So it's like Maximus to me in the early episodes, I thought they were setting him up for like a major. I could see him becoming the bad guy in the show after the first few episodes.
Right.
Ultimately, didn't turn out that way. Yeah,
he does have a good character arc here too. Yes. So we'll see season 2.
Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed Maximus' character because of that. Because like, I feel like he was on a really dark path if he did not meet Lucy. Because like, I feel like both Lucy and him are obviously results of their environment. Like they're results of like, basically growing up in two separate cults. And like Maximus basically grew up with this like idea of like, all right, power is the only thing that matters. Like rising up the ranks and like becoming a knight and like just like having the status and having the suit, like that's everything that matters. And then he meets Lucy and he starts to fall in love and he's like, oh no, like that's just a thing. Like I just want to like hang out in the vault and eat caviar with Lucy. Like that just seems, I just want to like, have good times with someone I love. And like, I really like that because like, it just shows you just how much like love and like human connection can change people for the good and change people for the better. And whereas Maximus is getting better, Lucy's like getting worse because like, she's like, oh no, like everything was like sunshine and rainbows. The world sucks. And like I'm now slowly realizing that you have to kill to survive. And like, I just like seeing those two journeys sort of like kind of go different because of their experience.
That's why they need each other, is because like Lucy needs someone who's cutthroat and willing to do anything to survive. And he needs someone who's all about being real sweet, just being a pal. Just being in the, the rules of the Palaxy. Just be sweet to your pals. He needs that.
Sweet to your pals. Be sweet to your pals.
Something that like, I did bring up a little bit early, and a lot of people have brought up since the show came out, but Aaron Moten, Mr. Maximus himself, has got to be Kang in the MCU. Like, my God.
Yeah.
He's gotta be.
As soon as I saw this dude be mad sketchy, I'm like, this dude has like Kang, like ambition. Like he has that Kang like ruthless like motivation that like would be so good in the MCU, man. Like my God, that's all I could think about. It was
dude,
like
if
how
anyone
well he
could
would be
do
as a Kang.
If anyone could do it, it's that actor. He's amazing.
Like Aaron Moten, very, very, very talented man. But anyway, not to talk about Marvel too much during a non-Marvel thing. So how did you guys feel about the ending of this series? Because obviously it sets up something that a lot of gamers have been very excited about. New Vegas. I did not see that coming at the end. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe like they show the Deathclaw skull and now we're headed to New Vegas.
I'm just so excited the Stratosphere has survived. The jewel of Las Vegas.
There's some lore behind that one. I don't want to take it back too much, but just really quickly on the last topic. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay, baby.
Please,
Okay.
go.
So here's the running theory, and it definitely checks out. But each of the three main protagonist characters that we've seen across the course of the series represent different play styles. And so generally within these games, you can kind of choose like your karma and your standing within certain towns, places. And obviously, just when you play any sort of open world kind of game, you can generally choose whether do I want to be good? Do I want to be nice to people? Do I want to go and ravage this entire town? So we're seeing each valence of the character and like their morality. And then also we're kind of seeing some character stats as well throughout the game, like intelligence and stuff like that. But Lucy is essentially good, right? And then we've got Max, who's neutral. And so you can count on him to take care of himself and survive, but you can also count on him to eventually tell the truth and eventually try to do what he thinks is right. I am a knight. I can save these people. I can get that man in black. Yeah. And then we see literally a black hat cowboy, man in black. Jonathan Nolan loves those, I guess, from Westworld. Right. And he's kind of like the chaos. So just wanted to touch on that real quick.
Oh my gosh.
I like that insight.
I was actually going to specifically ask you about that at some point, because when I was watching it, obviously know nothing about the game, but it reminded me a lot of when I watched the D&D Honor Among Thieves movie. The reason why I love that movie so much is because as a D&D player, I could tell every single time what that character rolled to get that action. I was like, oh baby, that is a cool 7. You rolled a hard 12 there, baby. Like I always am like, oh, that guy just fucked up. That is a nat 1. Or like, oh shit, that was amazing. Clearly a critical hit. So like the whole time I watched that movie, I can't turn off the dice rolls when I'm watching
You get it.
And I was wondering if it's like that watching Fallout, where you're like, I cannot unsee all of the gameplay that's happening right now.
Oh, absolutely. You're sitting there and there's a scene where they're in Philly and, the combat slows down for the Ghoul's character. And you're like, oh, this is utilizing the VAT system, which is a combat system in the game where essentially you use action points to essentially like stop the enemies from moving. And you can select what limb or what part of their body you can hit.
No way.
It's very useful in a pinch.
Very useful.
That is so cool.
Yeah, you're seeing that from the outside while watching the show. And then you're also noticing different character stats. You're like, okay, Lucy's intelligence is a little bit higher than maybe Max's, and Norm's perception is super high, as he's solving mysteries. And so you see a lot of those game elements. And that's why it's like a next level of just game mechanics as someone who enjoys the Fallout games. When you're watching the series, it's not necessary to enjoy the series, but it's definitely present.
No, it's so fun. That's how I feel about the D&D movie. It's like you can watch that movie and just laugh at Jonathan and have a great time. But it's also Jonathan. It's also just so fun to like go through and you're watching it and you're like, oh shit, he just rolled a nat 20, or like, ooh, he got a 20, but that was a dirty 20, if you know what I mean. Like I love that so much. And I was honestly picturing you guys doing that while you were watching it. So sorry to be creepy, but I picture you watching TV. And
I like it, actually.
I was hoping that was how you were watching it. So I'm super, super happy to hear that. That's great. That's so fun.
I want to talk about my very, very controversial take that the second half of the season kind of slowed down a bit. I could tell by everyone's faces. But before we do that, we have to thank our wonderful sponsor for today.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of dice roll,
totally real sponsor.
Are completely real, not made up at all. They are giving us $1 million for this episode. If you can't tell, the budget of this show is incredibly high. Just look at this gorgeous set behind me.
My
Look
God.
at this. Tommy has ET over his shoulder. I'm sorry, you guys. Before we started taping the show today, I was laughing like I was looking at Beavis and Butthead behind him on SNL. Like I was just like, there is.
It's true.
He's a little guy and he's popping. It looks like Tommy has 2 heads and one of his heads is ET.
Seriously.
But okay.
I love it.
Let's let the dice do the talking, baby.
Whitney has the dice.
Let's let the dice
D20.
do the talking. Ooh, oh my God, I got a nat 20. I got a nat 20.
Nat 20, let's go.
Nice. Oh my God, that's That is the first time I've ever rolled a nat 20 on this show.
Let's go.
Good luck.
20 is stinky. So whatever it is, it's gonna be stinky.
Stinky what?
Stinky hand sanitizer, baby.
Oh, all right, let me try this one. God, this is gonna be so weird. When I go number twosies, I want the memories. All right, I don't like every time I flush the toilet, it just goes away. Here, luckily for us, we have Stinky Hand Sanitizer, which is our sponsor for today. Would you like your hands to smell like a poo-poo? Well, Sticky Hand Sanitizer is perfect for you. You spray it on your hands, and you can bring your number 2 memories with you on the go.
MT, would you say sharding is such sweet sorrow for you?
I mean, I would say that every day. I mean, like, God.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Stinky, founder and owner of Stinky Hand Sanitizer. Listen, there's nothing worse than when you just get all clean and people want to keep hanging out with you. No, I don't want your germs. By using Stinky Hand Sanitizer, you prevent anyone with germs from coming within 4 feet of you. There is an absolute, it's got to be at least the size of a 4th grader away from you at all times when you are wearing the Stinky Hand Sanitizer. That's how you won't get sick. You won't get sick and your hands will smell like dick.
Hey! It encourages social distancing.
Encourages it.
Good God.
Stinky hand sand. Try it today and never again.
Good God. Buy it now, please. It's on sale now. Now, so here's how I feel, gang, jumping back into the old world of Fallout. Here's my issue. And this is just as a viewer, again, not coming in with the Easter eggs were, a little lost on me. I felt the stuff in Vault 4 was a little drawn. I didn't really get
the mutant stuff.
I kind of get all right, so we're supposed to learn that Vault-Tec kind of tortured these people and now they live in a vault. I get that by that point I had firmly established that Vault-Tec was evil. In my mind, I was like, I get it. And I just felt like we wasted some critical time up on the surface land learning about maybe a little more of the world than we got in Vault 4, which kind of ended up being a big nothing burger, right? Like it was like she was sentenced to go back up to the surface again. Like, well, other than pushing Lucy along in her kind of development of realizing, shattering her reality that the vaults are the end all be all, best way to live life and only way to truly exist happy. What else did we really get from there? It was
I'll tell you what else we got from there. We got Cyclops Chris Parnell. That's what.
Sure. And I stand corrected and I stand humbled before you with that information. But
I also thought it was kind of a.
I just kind of at that point was like, I guess I wanted more. I wanted them to get to Moldaver and Kyle MacLachlan, Hank faster. I know that was the end, but I guess I wanted that. I would have rather had that draw out more than the Vault 4 spanned over 2 episodes, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
I don't know. It all blends together, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
That's just the problem with binge watching. Anyway, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm right. Second half of the season was exactly necessary. Didn't drag. In fact, it was all the way. Go ahead.
You're wrong. You're wrong because the vaults all serving different functions is a major part of the plot and a major part of the lore, and it also established Moldaver's character as possibly not being a dad napper. Because Lucy, I mean, she had her development from it, but she also got to see there's people actively worshiping this person. Why? And it's part of a puzzle piece in the mystery that is the Shady Sands, right?
Yes.
So that was putting things together where I was definitely intrigued on why are they doing this weird cult worshiping thing, and then there's Moldaver, and then on top of it, Lucy is exploring how different this vault is and seeing an NCR flag in there, and it's piecing in that world and some of the history that maybe was going against what she was taught and some of the I don't want to say brainwashing, but Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
then
brainwashing.
It is
It was
200%
Vault-Tec
brainwashing.
there you go. And then
Yeah,
as someone involved with the games, it is actually really interesting to find out what each vault is. Even if it's like not some sort of greater part of the story, it's just fun to joke like, oh, what vault would you rather be in? Oh, definitely don't want to be in that one. You know, like that's the good one, be in there. So it's just a lot of world building and piecing together that mystery.
Well, you fell for my trap. I agree with you 100%. I just wasn't smart enough to piece it together, and I needed someone to spoon feed it to me.
Okay. Honestly, I've seen that criticism from a lot of people online. A lot of people feel like the second half was a little bit lackluster. I guess I just didn't feel like that because I'm a beautiful, beautiful dummy and I just like to watch TV. So I was just happy. I was just having a great time.
You know what?
No,
absolutely.
I thought that part was a little bit weird until like I thought about it. Cause like in the Fallout games, like one of the biggest like, what do you call it? Threats to the universe is the forced evolutionary virus. Also there was the FEV. And so like having the mutants be in the show, I feel like sort of sets up maybe the FEV coming into play in the future. Cause like the Enclave was heavily involved with the FEV in the games. And so like they sort of tease the Enclave in season 1, but they don't really get into like what they're doing, what's going on there.
Was the Enclave teased? Was that the group of all the corporation heads?
The Enclave was where the scientist came from. He escaped with the
that was where they were. That I didn't watch that scene. I had to leave when they were being mean to the puppies. So I don't actually know what happened in that scene, and I'm very glad that I don't. But I know he came out with a dog afterwards, and that's all that matters.
That's basically all you need to know.
He spared a 9-pound dog or a 9-ounce dog, right?
Like the beginning of that episode was just so jarring. It's like, here's a baby dog into the fire. I was like, oh my God.
No, couldn't watch
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Could not watch it. I like dogs too much.
That was the extent of it. If you do want to go back,
that's pretty much all it is. So you saw the worst of it.
I just couldn't watch that scene. I had Brett call me back in when they were done with that business because couldn't do it.
Yeah,
that is quite heartless. But anyway, the inclusion of the mutants, I feel, was probably a setup for like obviously mutant super mutant soldiers, which is like a big part of the Fallout series. And like in the Enclave experiments with the forced evolutionary virus, which was the virus meant to wipe out all life on the surface so that, Vault-Tec can just like repopulate the earth with whoever they wanted. Because everyone on the surface is dirty and mutated and gross, and Vault-Tec doesn't want that.
Buds.
I have a sort of confession. This is the first time hearing of this evolutionary virus situation. I honestly... There was a very large part of me that was like, sure, they're probably fucked up because of some experiments, but that is definitely the vault where everyone fucks their cousin. That has to be. That's gotta be. Why would you have one eye? Why would you have one eye if you aren't fucking your cousin? So I'm not gonna lie. That's what I thought it was.
No, because that vault probably has the most genetic diversity because they're just letting people drop in from anywhere.
That's true.
That's the place to find a man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, especially during the nudist blood drinking scene. Yum, yum, yum. That's a great place to meet a nice freaky person. I haven't done that
since Myrtle Beach. Now, in the end, we find all roads lead to Griffith Park Observatory, as I've always said. There is no true ending of the world unless you are staring out of a giant telescope into the night sky in beautiful Los Feliz, California. Now, we find out that the goal, the thing inside the neck, was, of course, cold fusion. A tiny little cold fusion droplet, which goes against everything Vault-Tec cares about, because the cold fusion would allow the entire world to be powered and have electricity and get things done, restart machines and have air conditioning and purify water. Maybe even get some running toilets and stuff going on in there. You know what I mean? Like
maybe a LaCroix factory can reopen and we could have bubble water again. I don't know. I'm
Timothy Chalamet can open his chocolate shop like in the movie Wonka, the Smash musical. But it's also, we get the Brotherhood of Steel. We get the Ghoul. we get Lucy, we get Hank, we get Moldaver, everybody colliding, and the Brotherhood of Steel. I was confused on this final battle as to who was actually powerful, because I don't understand, other than the Ghoul killing the Knights because he used to have a Knight suit when he was part of just the U.S. Army. And obviously these Knight suits are part of tech that existed pre bombs. Why didn't they just kill everyone? I mean, I guess ultimately they did, but it seemed like they took a lot heavier casualties from Moldaver's resistance army than I would have suspected.
Yeah.
Because it seems like most knights were dead by the end of that battle, and we were left with only squires.
That's a good point.
I mean, yeah, that is a good question. It seems like there might be a disparity between some of the training, at least from what we've seen in the Brotherhood of Steel. Like maybe some of the training has gotten worse. Like this is just me theorizing here, but on top of that, these factions have been, in conflict for how long now? I don't think maybe they have the Ghoul level understanding of some of the weaknesses on the suits, but maybe there is an understanding of like, maybe we can trap them. They're kind of bigger and clunkier. Again, this is theorizing, but also it could just be, like something that played out and perfectly for the show and the plot.
Right.
Yeah, but that's how TV works.
No, I feel like
that's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz, baby.
No, I definitely feel like there is probably going to be a commentary on, how war is just constantly just like trying to fill in, the boots, like someone's old boots, like somebody that died's old boots with like new, fresh, young blood just to die, like it's just like cannon fodder. And so like, I feel like all of these like people that end up becoming knights became knights pretty fast. And because like, people are just dropping like flies because the Brotherhood of Steel just has their particular mission of like, all right, there's a toaster in Santa Monica. Go risk your life for it.
Gotta go get it. Go risk your life for that fucking toaster, man.
And so like, yeah, I just feel like, the higher ups of the Brotherhood of Steel is the main problem. It's just like, these like super, theocratic and like, I don't know, like super fanatic men that just want to wage war for themselves. And like, it's all about like gaining power.
Can we talk about how the Brotherhood of Steel's endgame is basically the same endgame as Ariel from The Little Mermaid? Just collecting as many trinkets as possible to store in your cave.
Now I'm just picturing like a huge Brotherhood of Steel, like dude in a suit just breaking into her place. Like, give us all this. I sacrificed myself for the dingle hopper.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Why didn't the waffle maker I found on the freeway make me complete?
Yeah. Why not? Wouldn't you think? I'm a girl who has radiation poisoning. Now, here's the thing. Like all good protagonists in a TV show, Lucy gets a tremendous amount of devastating information dumped on her in a very short period of time. Her father has lied. Her mother is alive, but is a decomposed ghoul who is sitting.
That was hardcore. That was hardcore.
Fucking intense. Then she had to kill her own mom. What?
Yeah.
But also, why was Rose keeping, or why was Moldaver keeping Rose alive? Were they sisters?
I don't know.
I don't think they were sisters.
Maybe they were lovers after she divorced Kyle MacLachlan.
They were Brett says lovers.
Oh, they were lovers. Yes, good.
Which of course could lead to Kyle MacLachlan's Hank's his belligerent, being made a fool by his wife having an affair on him. That leads to his, kind of not necessarily noble actions towards banishing the mother to the surface, I guess. So like what we're meant to believe is that Hank basically told his kids that their mother died, but she just went to the surface, right? Like that's kind of the short of it.
But they actually lived on the surface with their mom for a while. Like she kidnapped them and took them to the surface with her, and that's why Moldaver was like, that's why she knew her name, and she was like, you were so happy here when you were little. You and your brother used to like run around. We were trying to like make a new home for you.
And remember, Lucy said when I was with my mom, it almost felt like because they were in that hollow vault with the projector. And she said when I was with my mom, it almost felt like the sun was on my skin. That was like in hindsight a reference to I was actually in the real sun.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then Yeah, and then the husband found the kids, and then they took the kids, and then he blew up Shady Sands, which is super sad because Shady Sands was in the first Fallout game, which is like which is like a great little throwback. I like that little throwback. And also, fun fact: the code that they put in to access the Cold Fusion is 10/10/97, which was the date that the first Fallout game came out, October 10th.
Oh, that's so cool. That is such a fun Easter egg. I love that.
That's awesome.
And another cool fact is 11/10/97 is the day I turned 14. Anyway.
What?
Nice.
Significant.
Doxing myself on the internet, learning information about
And also,
me.
this code was my social security number.
And also, this was my grandmother's maiden name, and my first dog, and the first street I lived on.
Sorry, MT, go ahead. You were saying?
No, so before we go, season 2 predictions. Like, what do you guys feel like is going to be happening in season 2 with Lucy and the ghoul and everybody? Like, in Norm, like, what's going to happen with Norm? Is he just going to sleep forever?
I
think Norm's gonna wake. I think Norm is gonna wake up some more of Bud's buds and overtake the brain on the Roomba. So I have 2 predictions. Norm will have an army of Bud's buds, or at least 2 Bud's buds that he wakes up and they kind of have no choice but to help him get out of there. And the other thing I predict is that Lucy will divert her path to finding out the truth and figuring out what everything all means in order to help the ghoul find his family, because Lucy's family has now been destroyed. So in an effort to cope with the trauma of that reality where her father is evil, she had to shoot her mother in the head, albeit a zombified version, and her brother is God knows where. For all she knows, he's dead too, So I guess the best she
and
can
her
hope
boyfriend,
is that
she just had to leave him lying on the floor with definitely a concussion.
Definitely concussed, although he is now king of cold fusion. So
he's the cold fusion king.
So my prediction is Lucy helps the ghoul find his family, and that Norm is going to wake up a couple buds.
So I think that we know everyone's motives here, right? The ghoul is probably looking for Barb, can we call her ex-wife or his still wife? I don't know. Did he have a ring on his hand?
I mean, it's technically ex-wife, because remember all the other dads at the birthday party were like giving him shit about his alimony payments.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. I think it's ex-wife.
Okay. So he's probably searching, for that. He's probably looking for his family, his wife, trying to, I don't know. I'm sure he's looking for his daughter, some regards for that.
Yeah.
But I think that Henry is he's running off in the suit to New Vegas. I believe that Power Grid reaches all the way to New Vegas now, right? Because I think they also had like their own Power Grid out there. This took place year-wise after the events of Fallout New Vegas. So
15 years.
Yeah, so if you played through the game, there is some change of hands in no pun intended in
nice
in the leadership of New Vegas. So maybe Henry's going to try to go there, the dad, and he's going to, I don't know, either try to run some other area because he's power hungry, and that's he's trying to live out the Vault-Tec and all those corporate goals,
right?
And
you gotta hit those corporate goals. You gotta.
Exactly.
You gotta hit your quotas, even in the apocalypse. You gotta.
I mean,
I think Lucy's gonna, continue exploring the wasteland and learning more about herself. But I think eventually she's gonna have a draw to go back and find her brother, obviously. I think Norm, I feel like they're gonna have some of that Fallout goofiness come into play here. And Norm's gonna just end up kicking you know what I mean?
Just
he's just
the Roomba.
He's literally, that's all he has to do. But I think he's just taught so much passivity in his life that he's gonna he's gonna grow. I don't want to use the wrong term here, but I think he's gonna stand up for himself. And I think that it's gonna be some really anticlimactic way out of the vault, and he's going to try to deliver that message to the other vaults. And I think Max he's on a really interesting arc, right? Like I said, he's the neutral character here. And so I think he'll continue neutral if we're going with the play styles and that whole meta within the show. But I think it's just going to be intensified. Like he's obviously going to be looking for Lucy. He's going to be confused on the abandonment of Lucy leaving. And then also, maybe some of that power hungry, because we've seen him like it so much previously in the show. So that's my theories on it. But I think obviously New Vegas is going to be a massive role here. And there's going to be a lot of interesting little groups and I think people that they come across there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that they're going to discover that Bono is a zombie when they go see you two play at the New Vegas Sphere, and he's just going to be the whole time. He's going to be doing the feral ghoul thing where he's like, "I'm Bono, I'm Bono, I'm Bono," and we're going to be like, "Yes, Bono, you are."
He's going to be a glowing one. Those are the super radiated ghouls, and they're like glowing, and it'll give everyone rads inside of the
sphere.
The sphere, and that's part of the experience.
The experience.
Nice. Experience. Nice. I want to see like ghoul versions of Chris Angel and Penn and Teller.
Oh my God! You just said the magic words, MT. Ghoul, Chris Angel, mind freak.
It would be so funny.
That'd be great.
Just chilling in Vegas. It'd be so funny.
I don't want to say some of the stuff that we saw playing in the games in Vegas, but there's some very, very interesting groups of people there that practice some very interesting things. So
I can't wait.
I may have to play that game. Now,
it's going to be dire.
Quite dire indeed.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I definitely feel like in terms of my predictions, I feel like there's going to be a war between the two vaults. 32 and 33. Obviously the one-eyed best friend with the patch, she has like her own ambitions for her family and her kid.
Well, she's 31, right?
Yeah, no, she got shoved to 32.
She's from 31. She's from 31.
But like
she was married to that guy in 32.
Yeah,
but we never saw her in the flashbacks. Where was she in the flashbacks?
Where was she?
I was upset about that. Like that was my immediate thing. Was like, where did? Because I blank on her name, but I'm like, where did I patch? Where was she? Like in the flashbacks, was she? Because like Betty straight up was who got elected as the vault leader.
She was Barbara's assistant, right?
Yeah, she was an assistant. Like they're having every single person at that company involved. So I'm like, where is she? I'm looking for her.
Right. Like, how old are you, Steph? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like her and Betty are gonna go at it, like have a huge war for both of the vaults, and like, cause like they're in a really shitty vault with like corn that can't grow and shit. Like Betty screwed them over.
And their
like,
water
hardcore.
thing is completely broken too, right? So don't they only have like 2 months before their water supply is fucked?
So like things are not gonna go well, and Chet's gonna have to kill some people, like most likely, and I feel so bad because Chet's a nice man.
Chet's gonna have to get nasty again.
Chet
again.
Chet's always getting nasty, baby. He's into that cousin loving.
That poor man.
Chet.
I feel bad for him.
Chet. Guys, if you have a Chet in your life, reach out, ask how they're doing, be nice to your Chets, and of course, as always, be nice to your pals. Angelica, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, Angelica, you are a queen. Thank you for stopping by.
We had so much fun with you. Please come back again.
Absolutely.
We love you.
Yeah.
I would love to come back. Maybe, hopefully sooner, but maybe for Fallout Season 2.
Yes,
of
course you will be, obviously. But where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yes.
That's a good question. I live stream over on Twitch at A-Trey. And then you can find me on most other platforms at Angelica Trey. Just all one word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always making stuff.
And you can find us at our socials linked below at Mastertainment, at Whitney Puppy, at Tommy Bechtold.
And if you want some merch, you can find that at guardiansofthepalaxy.store.
Yes, buy a shirt. Warm your hearts, warm your bodies, warm your hearts. We love you, pals. Take care of each other. Goodbye.
We love you. Bye,
everybody.
Stay radiated, baby. Bye.
Stay radiated.
Nice. Stay radiated.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.